the Star Wars prequel that's actually watchable, here's my review of Revenge of the Sith. Hey guys, how are you? So we finally got here the third episode in the Star Wars Prequel Trilogy, the final episode in George Lucas's Prequel Trilogy, and this is the best one of the three. It's actually watchable, it's pretty damn enjoyable, and this is the story that we've been wanting to see since back in 1999. This is the story of how Anakin falls to the dark side and becomes Darth Vader. And a couple of things I noticed straight out of the bat watching this movie is the dialogue is a lot better than in the previous movies. Whether George Lucas had actually listened to what fans have been saying about how terrible the dialogue was, I don't know, but the dialogue is already a lot better. And the CGI is a lot better than we got with the previous two movies. Now, I'm not just saying that because it was a newer film. This film came 3 years after Attack of the Clones, so it was released in 2005. The CG is better because it's more realistic. It hasn't aged nearly as badly, and the effects that they got from the rendering of the CG look a lot better. I'm not saying it's perfect. There are a couple of instances where I did think that, oh my god, especially the bit when Obi-Wan Kenobi has some sort of platform thrown on him, and it just looked really bad. But on the whole, it's a lot better than we got in the previous two movies. So, good things starting off there. So Revenge of the Sith opens with Obi-Wan and Anakin on a rescue mission out to save Chancellor Palpatine, who's been taken prisoner by Count Dooku. We get a massive epic space battle to start the movie off, which is absolutely fantastic and rivals some of the ones we'd get in the later movies. And we also get a fantastic lightsaber battle between Count Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin. This is some really good stuff, and the choreography here is absolutely fantastic. And when we get to the end of the battle and Anakin has Count Dooku at his mercy and Palpatine tells him to kill him, you can really see Anakin's turmoil, whether he actually should do this or not. He knows he shouldn't, but he doesn't want to argue with Chancellor Palpatine. But this is a really poignant part of the movie, and it's really early on where it shows the Chancellor has got power over Anakin. Where he's standing there with Dooku at his mercy, knowing that he shouldn't actually do anything. He should hand this guy over to the Jedi Council for punishment, and the Chancellor goes, "Do it," echoing the Emperor that we got in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And as Anakin decapitates Count Dooku, you can almost feel the tension. He has just gone too far, and the silence that we get for just a few seconds after is all we need. And this is really well played from Hayden, Christensen, from Ian McDiarmid. So shortly after, Anakin learns that Padme is now pregnant. This news shakes him a little bit. It's something he wasn't expecting, but he seems fairly excited. And unfortunately, the dialogue in these sort of scenes is still just as sappy as what we got in episode 2. On the whole, the dialogue for this movie is a lot better, but here we do get sappy dialogue. I'm sorry, we do. So Anakin once again starts having nightmares about losing Padme in childbirth, and they scare him and they throw him. And this leads to the manipulation that Chancellor Palpatine's been waiting for. He coerces Anakin, he plays him like a fiddle, and he gets him just where he wants him to get him under his power. The manipulation here that George Lucas has written for these characters is absolutely fantastic, because Chancellor Palpatine recommends that Anakin be put on the Jedi Council, which the Jedi Masters do reluctantly, but they won't grant him the rank of Master, and the Chancellor knew this. They also ask him to spy on Chancellor Palpatine, which again he knew they would do, and he uses all of this to his advantage to play Anakin and show him exactly what he can do for him as a Sith Lord. He uses the fact that Padme is pregnant and tells him that he can actually give him the power. He uses all this, and in some sort of fantastic scene where there's some sort of opera and lights dancing, he uses this to tell Anakin about Darth Plagueis, who could control the midichlorians. And in fact, in my first review I said they were never mentioned again. They are briefly mentioned here, and he tells him about this character that could control life and death, and really gets to the root of what Anakin is wanting. He doesn't want Padme to die, and he'll do anything to keep her alive and protect her. This is an absolutely fantastic scene, and if you look in the background you can almost see the Darth Vader mask popping up in the light display in front of them. It's very subtle, but it's an absolutely fantastic scene, one of my favourite scenes in the movie. So in all this time, Obi-Wan's been tracking down General Grievous, who was introduced at the end of the opening sequence. This is a character that wasn't in the previous movie, and it was only in the Clone Wars animated series, so you would have need to have seen that, which to be fair I skipped. But Obi-Wan finally tracks him down, and it leads to an absolutely epic lightsaber battle where General Grievous has 4 lightsabers from Jedi he's killed before, and Obi-Wan kicks some ass. He takes him on, and it is just epic. So jumping back to Anakin and Chancellor Palpatine, Palpatine finally reveals to Anakin that he is a Sith Lord, the one they've been looking for all along. And Anakin essentially has a choice to make. Does he hand him in, or does he join him, as he's been coaxed all along? Now these scenes are absolutely really great, and you can tell George Lucas really relished writing this sort of stuff. This is essentially the story that he's been wanting to tell all along about Anakin's fall to the dark side and how it happened. So Anakin reports back to Mace Windu and informs him that Palpatine is the Sith Lord that they've been looking for. Mace Windu then, with Anakin in tow, goes to confront Palpatine and to deal with the situation. And this is a great scene, and you can see Anakin's in a turmoil as Mace Windu confronts Chancellor Palpatine, and he doesn't know whether he should stand up for what he's been trained in with the Jedi Order, or whether he should stand up for this friend of his who's been looking out for him as he feels his whole life. Chancellor Palpatine's got really close to Anakin and has burned himself inside Anakin's psyche. So as Mace Windu has Chancellor Palpatine at mercy after a short battle, Anakin has to make a decision, and he stands up for the Chancellor. So the Emperor now takes a chance to throw Force Lightning at Mace Windu, killing him and throwing him out of the window. This completes Anakin's fall to the dark side, and he's now anointed as Darth Vader. So now we're moving to some slightly darker scenes as Order 66 is enacted, and the clone troopers stop following the Jedi, and the next few scenes we get to see all of the clone troopers just essentially killing the Jedi. They stop serving them, and they're starting to serve the Emperor, and they kill every Jedi that they can. Anakin then goes to the Jedi Temple, where some younglings are there going, "There's too many of them, Master Skywalker, what are we going to do?" And we don't actually get to see it, we just get a sound effect and a cutaway, but Anakin slaughters all of the younglings, and that is a particularly emotional scene, both for Skywalker and for us as an audience watching. So Obi-Wan and Yoda finally meet up again. Yoda's been on the planet Kashyyyk with the Wookiees, with what looked like a really bad CGI Chewbacca. One of the funniest scenes was when Yoda climbs up onto Chewbacca's shoulder. But anyway, finally meets up again with Obi-Wan and Bail Organa, and they go back to Coruscant for an emergency meeting of the Senate. Now, while Bail Organa's in the Senate meeting, Obi-Wan and Yoda get back into the Jedi Temple and review some security holograms. There, Obi-Wan learns that it was Anakin that has actually slaughtered all the younglings and that he has turned to the dark side, even though Yoda kind of knew this anyway because he told him not to check the security holograms. They reconfigure the security beacon so that it doesn't summon the Jedi back to Coruscant and the Jedi Temple, because they will get slaughtered if they go back. And yeah, we've got some pretty powerful stuff here. So Obi-Wan goes to see Padme to see if she has any idea where Anakin might be. And it's here where he puts 2 and 2 together and realises that, oh yeah, it's Anakin that's the father of her baby. And by this point you can see that she's pregnant, and it takes him all this time to put 2 and 2 together. Anyway, she basically says that she doesn't believe that Anakin could do these sort of things, and Obi-Wan stows away in her ship because he knows that she's going to go and find Anakin, because she knows that he's on the planet Mustafar. Now, one of my main problems with this storyline so far is that Natalie Portman is given pretty much nothing to do. All she does in this movie is hug Anakin, cry, and look a little bit surprised when she finds out that he's turned to the dark side. They could have given her more to do. Now, I don't know why this is. Maybe it's because Lucas thought she's pregnant, she can't do anything, but she has nothing to do, and the movie, in my opinion, does suffer for this. But she gets a little bit to do. She goes to the planet Mustafar. So now we get to the climax of the movie where Anakin and Obi-Wan face off, while at the same time the Emperor and Yoda are facing off. And one of the cool things about the Yoda thing is, as he enters the room and the Emperor's there's 2 of the Emperor's guards in the doorway, and Yoda just flips his finger and these guys just fly at the wall and pass out. It's a little thing, but it is just absolutely fantastic. So anyway, these 2 battles are going side by side, and the Emperor Yoda battle is over pretty much quicker than the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight. This fight just goes on for so long, and I think it goes on maybe a little bit too long as they move from the solid ground onto these lava scooping droids that take the lava out of the planet, put it into something else, and eventually Obi-Wan gets off these droids and onto some high ground, and I have the higher ground, I'd give up if I were you, Anakin. Anakin tries to do a somersault at Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan chops his legs off, and this is where the shit goes down. Obi-Wan cries at Anakin, "You were my brother, you were the chosen one." And Anakin is just seething there, going, "I hate you," as he bursts into flames. The acting from Ewan McGregor here is absolutely fantastic, and Hayden Christensen's a lot better than we got in the previous movie. So, cutting back to Padme, she's now having the two babies. They didn't realise at the time, but she was having twins, Luke and Leia. We kind of knew that anyway. But she's lost the will to live, so she basically just gives up the will to live and dies during childbirth. Bail Organa takes Leia, and Obi-Wan takes Luke to Tatooine to give him to the Lars. So Padme's given up the will to live, and as she is giving birth to her twins, Luke and Leia, we get this intercut with the transformation of Anakin Skywalker into the Darth Vader that we know in the black suit. And it's a really powerful scene as you see the transformation here against the birth of the two children, and the birth of Darth Vader against the birth of Luke and Leia. It's a really powerful scene, really well directed, and it's a really powerful scene to watch. So going back to Darth Vader, it's great to finally hear James Earl Jones's voice again, but there just wasn't enough of it. He got maybe 2 or 3 sentences. And George Lucas's dialogue is back to wreak revenge one last time, with Darth Vader screaming that awful "no!" But all in all, Revenge of the Sith is the strongest of the Star Wars prequels. They progressively got better to the point where with Revenge of the Sith we got a film that wasn't just watchable, it was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed the movie. George Lucas finally got to tell the story that he wanted to tell all along. The story is dark. George Lucas isn't afraid to push the darker angles. We get to see Anakin's descent to the dark side, the way he's twisted and manipulated into being part of the dark side. It's a great representation of what the Sith actually are, and it's just a fantastic movie. The score, as ever, is brilliant by John Williams. It's great to hear Yoda's theme, Luke's theme, Leia's theme, all towards the end of the movie to be available. It's great to hear them. It's an absolutely brilliant prequel. It's the best of the prequels, and we've finally got through them, thank God. I didn't think it was going to happen, but we've got through the Star Wars prequels. I'm going to give Revenge of the Sith 4 out of 5. This is my score. You might disagree, but I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. I thought it was a very, very good movie, and it's a movie, out of all the prequels, one I never get tired of watching. So there we have it, guys. We finally got through the prequel trilogy, and it ended on a high note with the movie that George Lucas really wanted to tell, the best one of the series, and I'm really happy that Revenge of the Sith finally got to see the light of day. A lot better than Attack of the Clones and way better than The Phantom Menace. But next month we get into the original Star Wars trilogy with A New Hope, or as I've always known it, Star Wars, and I will continue to call it Star Wars. The next chronological story, if you want to see the review of Rogue One, I will put a link or a card somewhere around here for you to click on. Thank you very much for watching. Please give a thumbs up if you like this review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of Revenge of the Sith, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next month for the review of Star Wars: A New Hope. Bye.